Hi, my name is Jordan, and I'm here to talk about the film The City of God, directed by Fernando Mireles and Katia Lund. I'm here to talk about the similarities that the film shares with the story that I have created. It was a beautiful day in Oakland, California. The birds were chirping, people were yelling, and cars were honking. This story is about a man by the name of Ashtray and his day-by-day comparison to the slums of Brazil. Ashtray got his name by his excessive smoking habits, which has made his teeth buttery yellow. He rolls out of bed and heads towards the local liquor store. On his way down the street, he is greeted by a homeless man asking for money outside of the liquor store. Ashtray looks at the man and says, "We could all use a little help," as he walks into the liquor store. He starts looking at all of the alcohol bottles on the shelf behind the counter, which seem extremely overpriced. He starts to feel around in his pockets looking for his wallet, but he remembers that he doesn't have enough money. He then walks up to the counter to talk to the clerk. He proceeds to ask the clerk for store credit because he is a frequent customer. Ashtray comes to the liquor store almost every day. The clerk doesn't even let Ashtray finish his spiel before he interrupts him with, "You still haven't paid me from the last time, Ashtray." Ashtray replies, "Come on, man, you know I'm good." Z from the film City of God share similar interests and morals. They both have no morals and will do whatever it takes to get money, even if that means robbing a liquor store. They are both truly evil in one way or another. Next thing we see is Ashtray storming out of the liquor store with a gun and a bottle of booze in his hands, and he is running down the neighborhood as fast as he can. He looks back over his shoulder to make sure that nobody is coming. He blends into the crowds of people and makes a smooth getaway. Ashtray is left on the street to fend for himself, exactly like the culture in Rio de Janeiro. It seems to be every man for themselves. There aren't any handouts to go around because money is tight. You have to be able to bring something to the table if you don't want to be considered a freeloader. Both of our cultures seem to be based off of money and communication. Money seems to be the root of all evil, no matter what culture you are from. Not only does Ashtray have to find enough money for himself to live off of, but he also has to keep his girlfriend happy as well. Ashtray was simply robbing the store so he could get his girlfriend a bottle of booze for their anniversary dinner. Ashtray doesn't notice that his love is quickly beginning to spiral. She doesn't love him, just his money. Ultimately, this leads him to do nasty things to keep her happy. He would lie, cheat, and steal just to keep the romance going. His love and affection isn't enough for her as she instantly falls in love with his money and material objects. Unlike living in Rio de Janeiro, the Bay Area is one of the most expensive places in the world to live. If you can't afford to pay your rent, you are going to be literally living on the street. Just like the large amount of people who live on the streets of Brazil on a daily basis. Which brings us back to our main character, Ashtray. He is roaming the streets looking for his girlfriend. Ashtray continues to walk around the streets looking for his girlfriend for hours until he eventually finds her kissing one of his best friends. It wasn't until this very moment that Ashtray had felt such heartbreak and betrayal. He had already began plotting his revenge. Up phony stories and lies just to make it seem like what they were doing was not so bad. That the secret love affair, love triangle, wasn't as bad as it seemed. Ashtray pulled out his gun in broad daylight and pointed it at the girl he had once loved. Betrayal is a major turning point in both the films and in Ashtray's situation. He just can't get over it. Ashtray squeezed the trigger and the two lovebirds were blown away. Ashtray is shown crying hysterically while hearing sirens in the background. He knows the cops are coming. Ashtray then flees the murder scene just like Lil Z had fled the brothel after killing all of those prostitutes. There was a lot of people on the street watching Ashtray leave the crime scene. The neighborhood has a strict no snitching policy in place. This means people who were deemed to be a rat or a snitch were dealt a more severe consequence. Even talking to the police in general might give people the wrong idea. The cops arrest Ashtray a couple of blocks away from the crime scene and is instantly booked and taken down to the station. Ashtray has no regrets and knows that he will be back on the streets in no time. Ashtray beats the murder charge due to insignificant evidence, and the prosecutors couldn't provide an actual witness to testify against him. The case goes cold and Ashtray gets a second chance at life. He gets a sense of joy that he doesn't have to spend the remainder of his life behind bars. Just like a lot of the characters from the film, he feels like he is above the law. The postcard doesn't represent the true identity of the Bay Area and is commonly misunderstood. Similar to the cities of Brazil, they look different from pictures and postcards compared to actually living there. Just like the movie The City of God, people in the Bay Area assume that everybody has good intentions, which isn't always true. Evil lurks around every corner, no matter who you are. No matter how much evil is in this world, there will always be hope. A little bit of hope will go a long way.